Hello, hello everyone. It's good to see so many smiling faces. I can see some dolls, I can see some living rooms. Hello, hello, hello. Could you hear the music? Yeah. Was it good? Yeah, we like the music. The music is all thanks to Colin. So I would like to welcome everyone once again for our fourth, can you believe it? Our fourth Jewmos Pride Shabbat. Incredible. Um, so before we start, I have a bit of housekeeping to do as usual. Number one, please be on mute while others are speaking. And please have your face displayed as you all are now. I can see your lovely faces. Please be respectful to the event as you would be in real life. And please make sure that you have your contribution prepared beforehand, and have your name and your pronouns clearly displayed in your Zoom name if you wish. And feel free to ask questions, comments in the chat box if you want. I'll be doing the tech tonight, so I'll try to get to them as best I can. And also tonight's event is recorded, and we look forward to uploading that footage a little bit down the track. So, welcome, dear friends. Again, it is wonderful to see so many smiling faces here this evening for our Zoom Pride gathering. Shabbat is a day of rest and reflection, to take time out from the busy week to look after ourselves and those we care about. So let's focus on what's truly important, which is sharing in this authentic moment together. And you've all chosen to spend this time with us, and I can't be more thankful for that. So tonight is a special Shabbat. We again unite from the corners of the globe to explore the intersection of our Jewish and our queer identities. And as we follow each Shabbat ritual, you have all offered to contribute something very special and meaningful to tonight. And so this is a night of sharing stories of inclusivity and engaging with our global mishbocha. I say this every week and I'll say it again. It took me a long time to feel comfortable being gay in Jewish spaces, and even longer being Jewish in gay spaces. We have all been through our own journeys, some of them quite difficult. And so nowadays, whenever I meet a member of our community, I try to offer unconditional love. So I will do that now. I see you. I see all of you. And I love you. You are worthy. You deserve happiness. You have been through hell and back, but you're here. You are a good person. You are a good person. You are a good person. It's now time for our opening round. I invite you to share your name, your pronouns, and your location in the chat box. We're all pretty well acquainted, but it would be nice to have one quick shout out before we get started. So we have some people from Australia, from America. We have Anne and Stuart from Perth. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have Colin from Melbourne. We have Ruben from Chicago, I want to say. Ruben from Chicago. Hannah from Sydney. Sam from New York, I think. And Renee from Wollongong. Yep, somewhere in regional Victoria. and we have some more joining us as well. So my name is Jared Gilad Be'ivrit, and as I'm sure you know by now, I think I prefer Gilad actually. I'll have to talk about a name change. Mom won't like that. Don't tell her. So it's about 6 p.m. here in Melbourne. I'm very excited to be here with you all. So let's get started. Trinkets. Every week I ask you all to bring trinkets to help make the space feel like home, to make the space feel special. And tonight I have brought a plant, a pot plant. This is a plant. I just to make sure we have extra numbers, this is my secret plant. So why? Great question. Very good question. So when I think of a plant, I think of trees, I think of bushes, shrubs. I think of family trees most of all. And when I was growing up, there was a time when I thought to myself, will I be able to continue the family tree? Will I be able to start the next generation and keep our traditions going? Will I be there will I want to have a Jewish family for my kids? Will I be able to? And that was a long journey. I won't go into it, but what I realized is that, maybe I won't complete the family tree in the traditional sense. Maybe I won't marry a woman. Maybe I won't have kids in that way. But maybe my branch has fallen off and maybe it's landed on the ground. But maybe, just maybe, out of the ground, out of the roots, out of the earth, there's buds and there's flowers and it's blossoming and it's beautiful. And maybe I won't continue the family tree, but maybe I'll be able to start something new and still special. So that's my trinket, that's my thought for tonight. So trinkets, put up your hand if you would like to share what you have.
Yeah.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi, everybody. Can you
The
take
sun
that
is
off?
behind
Hi.
our, there you go. I can't help it.
Yeah.
The sun is there. Big spotlight called the sun.
Firstly, sorry to say, welcome, Ruben and Sam. I can't see you, Sam, because you got up so early in the morning. So thank you. Do you want me to go first?
You go first.
Can I go first? Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah. Thank you. Can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, we normally, I don't know if you like this or not, Jared, but normally this is our winter we just finished our 2-week winter holiday. Oh, hi Sam. Just finished our 2-week winter holiday. And 2 weeks ago when they started, we normally come to Melbourne to see Jared, whether he wants us to or not, we land there. And this time it was so nice, the Friday when the holiday started, we got information from somebody Stuart knows. They offered us 4 days in a resort down south of WA, in a wine growing area called Margaret River, which is, if you have Australian wines, you'll surely have Margaret River wines, which that is what I was going to show you as my trinket. But when Jared was talking about the family tree, during our stay, we went 2 hours southwest of Perth to a town called Bunbury. It's actually a city. And my grandfather at 14 came from England to WA. His 3 older brothers were there and sisters, and they became the music family of Bunbury. They had a band, they had a theatre, which I only found out this weekend. I knew they named it the Lyric. This is it. But I found out this weekend. Thank you.
I was thinking 1911.
Yeah, 1911. I found out we went and had a look at it. It's now just an office space. But I found out this weekend they called it the Lyric because their mother sang at the Lyric Theatre in London. So Jared, that's probably why you sing so well, that and Dad's side. So yeah, anyway, that was our little trinket, and it also shows how kind people are, that somebody would think of us and give us 4 days at a resort, which was lovely.
Okay, so my, well, I'm going to click this up. I can see what I'm doing. So my trinket is this. Hello, Jared, recognize this? This was yours. This is your little big bird when you were a little bubba. Hello, bird.
Everyone bring out your
Hello.
Okay.
Oh, you Sam's got one too. Yeah, but so I saw Colin's Ernie, and I thought, oh, and I just still got the batteries in, still talks, etc. So I want to change over. But this reminds me of you. Used to love this and cuddle it and sing to it and play with it. We haven't looked at it for years and years and years. So Colin, thank you for inspiring me to get my little big bird for Jared out as well. And yeah, this is your childhood, Jazz, and you were about as big as it one time, and or little as it, and it's part of you and part of us. So
it's now going in the rubbish bin.
no, it's not going in the rubbish bin. Stop it. No. So Jared, this is your little will you do your little Princess Jasmine voices?
Yeah.
Comes from us and comes from this, and me doing this, playing with you when you're little. So bye.
Mwah. Thank you very, very much. We're very lucky to have you both here with us.
Well, thank you. Put it down now.
Would anybody else like to share their trinket with us? Colin's putting up his hand.
Unmuted, good. Firstly, don't ever part with that big bird, ever. And secondly, this is Bert, not Ernie. He keeps getting called Ernie and his name's Bert, but that's not what I was going to show you. He just lives
Can we
here.
call him Bernie?
That'd be
Bernie?
a Jewish version. Yeah, the Jewish version. Bernie.
Boynie. Okay.
And anyhow, my trinket. My trinket is very personal. You know, when you go to weddings and bar mitzvahs a lot, you get given one of these. This one's probably, I don't know, it hasn't got anything written on it, so I don't know where it's from, but it's quite a cool sort of colourful kippah. But my favourite kippah is one that was handmade for me by my mother, who is currently 94 years old. And she, many years ago, made me this kippah when I was a teenager, and I wanted a denim kippah, like denim jeans. And she made this one, which I still have to this day, and it's kind of cool. So that's a very sort of like a personal trinket kippah that I like to wear. In fact, I'll put it on now. It sort of covers up my bald spot. And so that's my trinket. It's handmade with love from Mum, and it's a kippah that I will always treasure. So that's my trinket for tonight.
That's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Colin.
It's okay.
Are you wearing a jeans kippah just so you can imagine your head's on someone else's pants?
Sorry, am I wearing it because of why?
I am joking.
I didn't catch all that. That's all right. Whatever.
It's been a long day.
Oh, it's a night for stuffed animals. Oh, this looks like a polar bear or something over there. Sam's got.
Would anybody else like to share their trinket with us? Any hands in the air for trinkets? Yes, Renee.
Hola.
Hola.
Wollongong is not in Victoria, my dear. It's in New South Wales, south of Sydney. so I move of state. Now my triclet is this one, and I purchase them everywhere I go, and I'm going to change the camera so you can see it. It's my orchid, and I'm admiring it each time you open, because an orchid, by definition, scusa, un momento, an orchid by definition renew every year, and it's slowly coming up. It's like a seed slowing up and up. And so that's what I see as my faith. Every day, every year, I renew my commitment. And every year is like my knowledge just increase.
That's really profound. Thank you. Yes, you're right. You live in you live in New South Wales.
It's okay. It's all right. It's okay. You should know. You came and said goodbye to me. You should know. Never mind.
I did. I thought you were moving to Victoria, different, but yeah. Well, wherever you're from, we're lucky that we have you here with us tonight.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have
Yes.
maybe one more, or should we get cracking? Sam, are you putting your hands up?
I think Ned is waving his webs, hoping we call on him. This is Ned. I found him on a trip to Canada in the Toronto Zoo. He's a Canada Goose. Basically, he's on Instagram more than I am. He has a wife, Sylvia, and because Canada geese usually have one mate for life, so that's how that works. And then this is transgender Pamda, who's very quiet and doesn't say much, but she is protesting all the unfair treatment of all the transgenders. So she does good work. And that's everybody.
Wow. Thank you very much for sharing. It's probably the most crowded bed during isolation. You've got 4 people in your bed.
Well, you know, we upgraded from the last apartment. I upgraded from a full to a queen, so there's room for everyone.
Aww. That's a good motto for life. There's room for everyone. I like that. Okay, well, thank you very much, everyone, for sharing your trinkets and for helping to make the space feel like home. And now we'll start to transition into our Shabbat mode. And to start us off, I invite Hannah to speak to us about what lightness and darkness means to her and to light the Shabbat candles for us. Hannah, the floor is yours.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I apologize. It's ironic we talk about lightness and darkness. I'm in the car with the light on and it's very dark. But to me, darkness is all around us every day. I don't mean that in a pessimistic way, but there's all sorts of things. There's nastiness in the world. We run around at 1,000,000 miles an hour, doing things, working, fielding phone calls. We're more contactable now than we ever were. Our cars, we have phones in, we have Bluetooth, we have everything. And to me, it doesn't take much to drive that all away. One candle in a whole room can destroy the darkness in that room. And Shabbat, to me, is that candle. It enables us to pause, to reflect, to be with one another. Last weekend on Sunday, I attended a Dayenu meeting in Darlinghurst at Simply Hummus, because they were all proud homosexuals. Get the pun there. And Food was amazing, absolutely amazing. We had zachlav, we had warming drinks. The conviviality was awesome. Everybody was on point. Everybody was having fun. We were together. The darkness was far, far away. And to me, that's what Shabbat is. That's what that candle is. It's not just a candle. It's hope. It's a focal point for us all to be united wherever we are in the world, wherever we are in the mishbocha. To be together is something that draws us together. And to me, that's what lightness is. So I'll do the blessing now for you all. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat Kodesh. Amen.
Thank you
Toda.
very much. As usual, your words inspire us. They fill us with joy and with perspective. And yeah, thank you very, very much for your contribution. So next, I would like to invite Ruben to speak about welcoming the stranger and to sing Shalom Aleichem for us tonight. Over to you, Ruben. Ruben, are you with us?
Yes.
They-
Shalom Aleichem. Salam Aleikum. These are the ways we politely greet each other in Hebrew and in Arabic. This is how I welcome my angelic friends to join me at the Kabbalat Shabbat and dinner. You who respect me and all others for being our true selves. What truly are man and woman? Torah uses male and female, but the definition given is sometimes left to man, or is it woman, to decide. So let us put our differences aside and greet each other as the angelic friends we know, love, and respect. Enter the Shabbat soon begins. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem. Malachei Hasharet. Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech. Malchei Hamlachim. HaKadosh. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boechem Shalom. Malachei HaShalom. Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem. Malachei Hasharet. Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech. Malchei Hamlachim. HaKadosh. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon, mi melech malachei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shuvdchem Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Malach, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Thank you, Ruben. Your music lifts our spirits, and we are very lucky to have you with us here tonight, particularly at 4 a.m. Thank you very much.
4 a.m.
So next, I would like to invite my dad, Stuart, to speak to us about a Jewish concept. I wanted to try to infuse various Jewish concepts and ideas and rituals into our Shabbat dinner tonight to give us new things to think about. So I would like to invite my dad to speak about pikuach nefesh, which means saving a life. Over to you, Dad.
Hi. Yes, pikuach nefesh. It's defined in the Torah as the principle of preserving human life. It overrides all other Jewish laws or mitzvah, law tasera, as a commandment not to do action. In any case, to save a human life is important. And the rabbis say to save one life is to save the world. So, for example, if it's Shabbat and you're walking down the street and you see someone knocked over by a car, you're allowed to use your mobile phone, if you're carrying one, to call 000 and call an ambulance. You're allowed to break the laws of Shabbat to do that. In current situations, as we are in COVID 2019 or COVID-19 2020, and the pandemic, the Rabbonim have actually mandated that you don't have minyanim, you don't go to shul, you don't, instead of having a minyan and the same prayers together, you are commanded to actually say, don't come together because you're able to spread this disease and actually therefore potentially take another's life. Therefore, you have to stay away from each other. In my personal experience, I have been in situations as an educator where I have changed and saved students' lives on several occasions. One that comes to mind, and just I met this person only last week after about 20 years. This girl was a year 7 or year 8, she would have been year 8, 13, 14 years old in my music program. And as you know, as an educator, because you see these kids all the time, you know them as your own children. You get to know their idiosyncrasies and on what moods they're in. And this girl was very, very quiet after one rehearsal. And I went over to her after everyone was packing up and said, "You okay? What's up?" And she said, "No, I'm not fine. I'm not good." So we had a bit of a chat, and it turned out that she was being bullied and was actually going to take her own life that night. So we sat down and had a chat. I got her in touch with the student services of the school, and put her on. She had counselling, and like I said, I saw her only last week, 20 years later, and she's married now with children. Had I not been able to perceive that this girl something was not right, she would have most probably killed herself that night, and without her parents even or anyone having had a chance to talk to her about it. So I feel lucky enough to be able to have. This is one example where I saved someone's life because I knew something wasn't correct. So we all have that situation. We all know people that we can actually talk to and say, hey, are you okay? Or family or friends, or even, you know, in a situation where we see a stranger, we're always able to help them. Even if it's Shabbat, we're allowed to break the laws of Shabbat to actually help someone. It is a commandment to break the laws of Shabbat to actually save someone's life. So Shabbat Shalom to everyone. And thank you for listening to my drasha this evening.
Thank you very much, Dad, for your beautiful words. I know that there are a lot of people out there in the LGBT community who are also struggling to hold on, who are really fighting every day to keep going on. And I would like to extend Pikuach Nefesh not only to reaching out to a stranger, reaching out to family and friends, but reaching out to ourselves, really taking the time to self-reflect on who we are and what our true values are. And maybe we may have to put certain Jewish things aside, but if the core of that is to save our life, then I think that's an important conversation we have to have as well. So I would now like to bring us back to Ruben, because he has, Ruben, are you able to share Lechadodi with us?
Welcoming Shabbat. Shabbat, we greet him or her as our bride or groom, and as our sages of old did. I'm bringing the poem L'Chadodi, welcoming the bride or groom into our homes. I will sing 3 verses tonight, the last one. If you want to and are able to rise to greet the bride or groom. And tonight I'm going to sing this to the tune of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad Yishmianu el chama yuchad Adonai echad U'shemo echad L'shem u'tiferet l'chila L'chadodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat neka bela Hitoreri kivarech Kumyuri Riuri Shidaberi Huri Shidaberi Kevod Adonai Alayich Nigla Lechadodi Likrat Kala P'nei Shabbat Neka Bela. Now we stand to greet the Sabbath bride. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam v'simcha u'sohala toch Chemune Am Segula Borichala Borichala Lecha Dodi Nikrakala Pnei Shabbat Neka Bela.
Thank you again, Ruben.
You're welcome.
Before we do Kiddush, I wanted to ask Renee. Renee, would you like to share with us a thought on what Shabbat means to you and what brings you here tonight?
Well, you took me on the spot, Jared. Shabbat for me, oh wow. Shabbat for me, it's when I feel an extra light in my life. It's like I can feel the Shekhinah, which is the divine light. Wherever I am, I just, another dimension to me. I'm already happy. It's like I smile more, I laugh more. I feel in tune with my neshama, my soul. And that's what Shabbat is all about for me. And I have the most respect, and it's an honor to light a Shabbat candle, sorry, it's Spanish. It's an honor for me to drink the Kiddush. It's a very, very special day for me. And I wouldn't miss it for anything.
Thank you. That was so beautifully said, and on the fly as well.
Yes. Yes, you know, I'm happy. I'm always happy, but I'm even happier.
Always happy. I'm feeling a burst of positive energy. Thank you.
Yes. But Shabbat has got that, I feel if you're in tune with yourself, with your neshama, with your soul, you really can feel simcha. You really joy. You really can feel it. It's like it's materialized. It manifests itself. You know, you prepare a beautiful meal, like I prepare my, baby barramundi, before, and I prepare, a Spanish tapas, etc. And yes, it's joy. It's wonderful.
Very well said. Thank you again, Renee, for being with us here tonight. And you're making me hungry.
You can come when, trust me, all of you would be most than welcome to come to Wollongong. And, whenever the borders are open, it's a
I'll be there. You know I'll be there.
All right. All right.
So next we have Kiddush, which is me apparently. So I guess I'll get my my wine and pour it into here. Am I off mute? Yes, I'm off mute. I'm a little bit rusty. We'll see how we go. Vayom hashishi. Vayom hashishi. Vayechulu hashemayim ba'aretz v'chol tzevam. Vayechal Elohim bayom hashvi malachto asher asa. Vayishpat bayom hashvi mikol malachto asher asa. Vayevarech Elohim et yom hashvi v'yekadesh oto. Ki bo Shabbat mikol malachto asher bara Elohim lasot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'haba b'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maseh bereshit ki hu yom tila l'mikrei kadesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim כי בנו ואהבת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen. Delicious. As you can tell, I'm definitely a wine drinker. So next, without delay, because it is 4 o'clock in the morning for him, I would like to invite the incomparable Sam, or should I say Sam, as he would say in his New York accent. That was terrible. I would like to invite Sam to speak a little bit about this week's Torah portion. Oh, and my mum's got a New York t-shirt.
Now I know how I pronounce my own name.
Sam.
Anywho, I should work on a different accent because I like when European people are like Sam. They say their A's differently. Anywho, as Jared knows, if you want me to summarize all 2 Parshiot this week, it takes me a little over 7 minutes.
I listened to the whole thing.
Excellent.
We woke up this earlier today. We cut down from 7 to about 2.
2. Yeah, and I'm not going to play what I wrote. I'll try to say it again more succinctly. And Ned says it's also clock, which means it's any time that is too early for waking. Anywho,
Well, thank you very much
this
for
week
being here.
we have a double portion. So that's a double parsha. We have Matot and Maseh. Matot means tribes, and Maseh means journey. For those of us that may have looked at or gone on Masa programs in Israel, it's the same shoresh. That means travel or journey. And an interesting thing that happens in these 2 portions is the dividing up of biblical Israel, which was done before they crossed the Jordan. And, it just makes us think a lot about, borders and how borders are created because, for me, in both of my identities, I've found that we kind of end up creating borders for ourselves. So I grew up in an Orthodox Jewish community, which is very much a bubble. So, you're in this kind of border of a very, I don't want to say rigid way of lifestyle, because to me, I don't necessarily view it as rigid, but you're with the same people, you're only with Jewish people most of the time. So that's a bubble or border you've created. And for those people that observe Shabbat, they don't carry outside of, a physical border, outside of what's called an Erev. It's a little kind of fishing line thing that would run around a town. And then as a queer person, in my adult life, a lot of us, we stay in a queer neighborhood where there's a lot of people of the whole LGBTQ plus community. So I think that we should all think about that borders in many ways are meant to be broken because both as a Jewish person, as a queer person, we encounter people that are very ignorant in our lives, and I think that we should all have the bracha to have positive interactions with people that aren't as open-minded or open-eyed as we are, and that we can educate them to the love of Torah, and the love of all queer people, and that people become more accepting and open. And with that, we say Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Very, very well said. I heard a wonderful phrase once. To paraphrase, it said, walls are, or I think it said doors are often, well, we think doors are used to lock other people out, but maybe they're used to lock ourselves in. So maybe we create borders to protect ourselves, but maybe we in doing so, we block some people off. When we were younger, I'm not sure about America, but in Australia, there was a big stranger danger campaign. If it's a stranger, don't talk to them. And I realized one day when I'm walking down the street, I'm a stranger. I could be a best friend with someone, but maybe they're afraid of me. Maybe they think I'm a stranger and they won't talk to me. So I'm, all the meaningful people in my life started off as strangers once upon a time. So, and you've all entered my life, and we have broken down those borders, broken down those boundaries, and made a deep connection. So, beautiful, beautiful words. Thank you very much for giving us that thought.
We definitely have that campaign or similar in America, because it was very much instilled in me as a child. Don't talk to strangers. And then I've realized as an adult, I think all I do is talk to strangers. So there we go. And Ned says, if you think someone is a bad stranger, you can hiss at them.
Ooh.
They might go away.
I'll have to practice that. Thank you, Sam. So next, I would like to invite my mum to speak about the concept of silence and what that means to her, and to complete the hand washing ritual. Did I get this right? Did I mix yours up? I mixed yours up. Hang on, give me.
I'm not doing the hand washing. We didn't have a hand washing.
Oh, sorry, maybe I did. Okay, but I'm doing the silence one. Oh, I did do the hand washing. Can you do it?
I'll do the hand washing.
Okay.
Do I need to get a thing?
Oh, we forgot about the hand washing. Anyway, can I do the silence? Yes,
Yeah,
okay, we're fine.
silence.
But do I need to get a bowl of water, Jazz, and do the whole?
That's okay. I can do it.
All right.
Firstly, about strange, Jared, you and I were never strangers. And secondly,
one day I popped out and you were like, "Oh, it's this new."
Where'd that
thing.
come from? No, but also, I can't talk while you've got this stupid thing in my face. I teach my students, that everybody is a stranger until you meet them. That if they met me, even though I'm a nice person, I was a stranger. So yeah, it's a very fine line between not trusting anybody and not trust. Like to be scared of everybody, but to be aware of people. It's a very fine line with children to get it right. You don't want to scare children that most people are great. It's just got to be aware. Anyway, I've been asked to speak about silence. No, I'm going to talk. It's interesting actually that Stuart, I didn't know what he was going to say, but I don't think he knew what he was going to say. But it was interesting that Stuart talked about that girl who was silent, because I've got a similar story about a child who was silent too. So it's interesting that we both questioned people who were silent. Okay. Now, in Judah, religious Jews will wash their hands, and before they say hamotzi, will be silent. And before they say hamotzi, before they eat bread or challah. And it's interesting. It's not a law. Jared's gone away. Oh, it's interesting. It's not a law. It's a tradition, and probably, one reason which is very relevant now is because of COVID, that they do it because they don't want to be distracted between washing their hands and actually eating bread. They don't want to contaminate their hands. Hi, Jared, you're back. Good. So it's interesting that's one of the reasons. But as Jared pointed out to me, I'm learning a lot I'll always learn from you, Jared. you were saying to me a few days ago that it's also a time, I know, like whenever we're somewhere and we wash our hands and, you know, we wait to say the hamotzi, especially Stuart taps and makes silly noises and sings. And as Jared says, we communicate a lot without talking, because talking can get in the way of actual communicating. So silence is very important. And in my...
I said, I sing any gun. That's actually part of the Shabbat thing. Not just singing anything or tapping anything.
I try to not just to hear, but to also really listen to people. I mean, it's a work in progress. It's not something, you know, it's something I've got to always be aware of. Because often when you talk, when somebody's talking, the other person is thinking of what they're going to say next, what they want to tell. They're not actually listening to what is being said. And often what is not said is actually the important message we must take away, not what is said. And as another thing Jared brought up to me recently was sometimes people talk as sort of a cloak or a costume. And I know people, I'm sure all of you know people that talk and talk and talk, but never say anything. Or is it just me that know people like that? But anyway, yeah, that's what happens. People could talk and not really say anything relevant. As a teacher, as my profession as a teacher, I try to be respectful and a respectful listener and an active listener. And I've actually got a story to tell, which is not as serious as Stuart's, but it was serious. I was teaching a seven-year-old class, and this little boy came in one day, very, very quiet. Normally a bubbly, happy child, very quiet. And after sort of, you know, as Stuart said, you know your kids really well. After a while, I said to him, like, is everything all right? What's going on? And he was, you know, it took a while to get him to talk. But what had happened was the night before, his stepdad, it was winter and he was 7, and he wet his bed. And his stepdad had taken him out to the cold shed, dark cold shed, and said, if you wet yourself tomorrow night, you're sleeping in there. So the little boy didn't know how to verbalize, didn't know how to cope with it, but was petrified and was scared. We talked through it. You know, the parent didn't mean it. It was just, you know, a silly threat. But yeah, people deal with things in different ways. And I know, you know, people deal with their problems in a different way. Yeah, silent fears can be, you know, silence can be a sign of a fear. So, yeah, and also as a teacher, you ask a question, and also you ask, oh, I don't know what this time is.
About wait time.
No, I know. Yeah, wait time. But
Time to
no,
think.
that's not what I'm saying. No, what I was saying, I can't think how this is to do with silence, but never mind. When as a teacher, when you ask a question, you often know the answer you want. And we've got a very crowded curriculum, and you know, I want this answer so I can move on to this. And often you get an amazing answer that's very, you know, intuitive, that really you should run with. And I always try to be more in tune to that, because, you know, that's what's important. So to listening is so important. And yeah, to listen to the silence, because that is often where you get the message. And I'm here for everyone to share. So thank you. Thanks, Jared. Thanks for the opportunity, Jared. Love you. That's it. Oh, you do your, oh.
We're still on.
We're still on.
I'm just doing silent countdown.
Oh, silence.
I'm not sure if my countdown will appear in the recording because I wasn't making a noise. But Sam, what did you say?
What? Oh, Sam.
I keep the minhag of no talking between Natilat Yadayim and Hamotzi. So.
Yeah, so do we.
Yeah, can I just say, Sam, I'm glad you're back.
Good to see you.
It's good to see you. We missed you. And especially because you're still, I can see you're nice and comfortable in bed, which is good. Poor boy.
Good goose.
Yeah.
I like that the wall matches the pillow.
The pillow and yeah.
I know.
You're color coordinated.
You need blue pajamas. You couldn't see it.
I tint the lights so that it goes with the wall color.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. So you do a lighting design in your bedroom.
The outfit.
Well, yeah. Well, it's been the upgrade of this place. Is I got LED light bulbs so that they could all change color and the electric bill is lower.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
Thank you. We're learning about Judaism. We're learning about how to save electricity. This is everything.
Hashem wants us to save the planet. This is very important.
Of course. Tikkun olam, no?
Yeah, and stay safe, everyone.
Yeah, stay safe. Stay safe.
Mm. And yeah, Mum, on what you said, you're right. It's important to be silent when others are speaking, to practice our listening skills. And it's also important to be silent even when we want to speak, even if we have an urge. Maybe we have an urge to give a critical comment, but it's important to hold our tongue in that moment. Maybe it's important to if you're having an argument, maybe it's important to sit back and to wait and to really take in what their point of view is, and to it's impossible for us to walk a mile in their shoes unless we take our own shoes off. So
If you walk in a mile in those shoes,
You've got their shoes.
you'll be a mile further away from them and have their shoes.
Jared, are you being Jared, are you being philosophical, or are you saying, Mum, don't have arguments with me? I don't know.
I think it was a little subliminal code in there,
Right back
Jared.
at you, Jared. Right back at you. What? Okay. What did you say?
There's no subtext.
No subtext. Okay, all right. We'll go back to mute now. Off you go.
So thank you very much, everyone, for your wonderful comments and your wonderful thoughts. So before we head off into the actual Nitilat Yadayim, I just wanted to ask Colin, we haven't heard from you in a while. Would you like to share a thought, maybe a thought on what Shabbat means to you, a thought on, a word of wisdom?
You're putting me on the spot, as you did Renee.
You work in radio, you're used to working on the spot.
Yeah, but I used to prepare the show beforehand.
It's okay, we can keep going.
Oh boy, okay, I don't know what to say. Look, I'll make an observation. Shabbat's changed a lot over the years in the way I've done it, from family gatherings. That's my microwave beeping in the background, telling me that the food's ready. From large family gatherings every Friday night, very elaborate, and until those ceased for one reason or another. And then Shabbat became a lot simpler when Mum and Dad were just living by themselves at home, and I would join them, and there'd be three of us for many years, until then the Mum went into care, so there was just Dad and myself, so we really didn't do Shabbat. So this is like me starting up again, having a regular or semi-regular Shabbat night, which is really cool. So it really has changed a lot for me over the years, and I guess it just goes to show there are different ways of celebrating the Sabbath and Shabbat in different forms, and this is one way of doing it. So thank you, Jared, for organising that.
It's my pleasure. It's really, really beautiful to hear you say that. And thank you very much for joining us again and for sharing your wonderful word of wisdom.
Well, it's a chance for me to get to see your parents too.
My parents want to see Sam. You want to see my parents. It's everyone.
We want to see everyone. Can I just say something? Hannah, can you hear me, Hannah? I love what you said about how the candle can one little light can take away the entire darkness. That was so beautiful. So thank you for that. It was so special.
But can we say we love seeing all of you? We love the fact that Jared is sharing.
Yeah, this is wonderful.
Thank you.
And Ruben, thank you for getting up so early in the morning, and Sam too. I know it's hard for you guys, and Used to be us get up at 5:30 when everyone else was doing it. So I know what it's like having like 3 hours sleep. So we kol hakavod to all of you for coming on this podcast, everyone. It's wonderful to have you here. Yeah, Sam, he can hear
I
you.
know. Sam, you're our favourite New Yorker.
And Ruben's our favourite Chicagoan.
Yeah. You're our
Must be
favourite
allowed to bring the lighting to red.
Chicagoan. I don't know what they call them.
Yeah, no, it's great having you, everyone that's singing around. Okay, back to you, Jared. Our little part of the show's over now.
I think Sam is blushing. He'll have to change the lighting to red to match the color on his face. So we're in the home stretch now. We're going to do the hand washing ritual, Nitilat Yadayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. Sorry, v'tzivanu al nitilat yadayim. Amen. And finally, the last piece of our Shabbat time together is the challah prayer. And when I think of challah, I think of breaking bread. I think of people coming together to share in a moment, different people with different lives, with a core thread that brings them together, just for a few seconds, just for a few hours, just for a few weeks or years or whatever it might be. We come together and we share and we grow and we connect. And to me, that's what breaking bread is. And challah is a symbol of breaking bread. So I'd like to invite Chana to talk about what this means to her and to recite the challah ritual, the challah prayer for us. Over to you.
I'd like to lead with a joke. Now, Jared's heard this, and he didn't mind it, so I'll take that as a point of reference. A Jewish man's out hiking one day, and he's looking for something interesting, and he sees a cave. So naturally, he goes in there to see what's in the cave. Unfortunately, just as he gets to the back of the cave, he turns around and he sees that there's a huge bear in front of him. It's absolutely blocking his exit. So straight away, knowing that his time on earth may be short, he starts to recite the Shema. He gets to sing Shema Israel, where he actually hears the bear praying. And he thinks, oh my God, Hashem has saved me. This bear is praying in Hebrew. Mishbocha, I am saved. Then he listens to the rest of what the bear's saying, and he hears the fateful last few words. Chamotzi lechem min haaretz. Okay, so that was a bad joke. Anyway, what breaking bread means to me is takes us back, right back to when I first joined in with you awesome people, and I sang Mizmor David. We are often breaking bread in the presence of our enemies, be that temptation, be that people who would otherwise not have us here, be that people who are critical of LGBTIQI plus people, no matter who they are. And breaking bread to me means taking time out and having absolute faith that we can do what we need to do. We can be who we need to be. We can talk to our enemies in the absolute faith that Hashem will keep us safe. So with that in mind, I invite you all to join me in saying, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chana. It's really special for me to hear your thoughts on what that first Jewmos Pride Shabbat meant to you. And
absolutely.
to see you, what, a month and a bit later, doing it all over again. It's really beautiful. So thank you so much.
You are welcome, and God, God bless to you all. Much love.
Same to you. Well, again, we reach the end of our Shabbat rituals together, but it's not over yet. I wanted to again thank everyone for being here with us tonight. For some of us, it may be our first Shabbat experience or our first in a long time. And we've spent a really special moment together. But before we say goodbye, I invite you to delve just a little deeper. Tonight is a night of sharing and learning and reflection. And so to close our time together, I want to ask a discussion question, something for you to think about either now or at your own Shabbat dinners, or maybe throughout the week. So I would like to, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but I would like to ask, are you living a meaningful life? Are you living a meaningful life? If that question means something to you, I invite you to put your hands in the air and to tell us what that means to you. Yes, we have a hand in the air.
I think Sam wants to say something.
Pam
He
doesn't.
Sorry?
She has her hands in the air. I don't know about me. I'm stuck here with them.
So are they leading a meaningful life?
I mean, I think so, because Pamda's mission is to conserve more bamboo so people don't waste the world's resources.
Okay.
And I don't know what I'm doing to be meaningful. I'm working on it in quarantine because
Wow.
all our regular jobs are shut down.
So what do you have? So the whole of Broadway is shut down at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm working at a TV studio 2 days a week, so I have no excuse to not have gotten up to be here, because the 2 days a week I work, we start at 3 in the morning and I wake up at
Wow.
2.
The early morning breakfast show you're doing?
Pretty much, yeah. I do Good Morning America. I
Oh.
run the light board so that the 2 other guys can take a day off.
You run the
But-
lighting for Good
Jerry,
Morning America.
we're very lucky to hear you speak about, what that means to you, and to give us all a bit of an insight into what's happening for you.
Can I say
Dad-
something, Jack?
Yeah, please, over to you.
Okay. All right. So I think, well, Mum and I are both in education, and we're in it. I know to actually make a difference. We see it as a long-term career. Mum and I have been teaching a long, long time. Me, 38 years now. Yeah, Mum, doesn't matter. A long time. But over the time, we were just discussing the other day, how many kids have we actually taught in our teaching career? I said to Mum, I've taught at least 10,000. She says, no. We worked it out, it was approximately 10,000 kids I've taught in the time I've been teaching. And I know I've made a difference to many kids' lives. I know I've actually influenced them to become better people, to become educators, to become musicians, to become lawyers, doctors, but they've always had that musical background and always had me as a mentor. And I'm still in touch with lots of ex-students in their 40s who are coming on Facebook and stuff, and ex-students who are now teaching around the world. One of my ex-students is doing reading, he's in Oxford reading musicology, ethnomusicology in Oxford. So yeah, I definitely know I've made a difference, and Mum does too, even though she works with little tiny children. She sets them up for life with her good values and things. And I know that people have met us, and even, Jared, people have met Mum. Oh, you were my year 2 teacher, Miss Rhine-Davis, I remember you. You were taller than me then. So, we have made a difference. And yeah, we are. I think we are. No, sorry, you go.
I just think I love going to work.
Sorry, we can't hear you.
Sorry.
Makes a change.
Sorry. When you talk about a meaningful life, I wake up every morning and can't wait to go to work. And a lot of people don't feel that way. So you're very fortunate if your life is your passion, if your job is your passion. So I hope everybody can achieve that, because that's very important.
Yeah, I mean, I always, when people say to me, "What do you do? What's your job?" I just say, "I don't have a job. I love what I do. It's not a job to me. It's what I am, who I am, and I'm very lucky to have that, and being able to inspire children, and also not only children, we make a difference to the community, the Jewish community that we're in. We've been involved with lots of things, as Jared will know.
Ellen, Mom, thank you for sharing.
I'll shut up now.
Incredible ways
Can
that you have in your life.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
I have a very, very meaningful life, all my life, like your beautiful Abba, Jared. I also don't see work, I see play. But for me, the difference is that I'm a life coach and I am standing up for perfect health. Because I believe it's our birthright to be in perfect health. And so it's very, very meaningful for me. Very, very meaningful.
That's so beautifully said. Thank you so much, Renee. Would anybody else like to offer a thought on tonight's discussion question? I would just like to say, I'm speaking off the cuff, who knows what will come out of my mouth. Am I living a meaningful life? For a long period in my life, I thought the answer was no. I really did think that my life wasn't particularly special, that I wasn't particularly making an impact on the world, because I was dealing with a lot. It's very difficult to fill other people's cups if you're struggling for thirst yourself. And there was a period in my life where I had a lot of anger and a lot of resentment and a lot of fear inside of me, but mostly because of being gay and Jewish. And then one day I realized, I can, how can I put this? Things happen, right? Good things happen, bad things happen, but we can choose how we respond. We can choose how so bad things happen, it gets processed in our brains. We get to decide how that's outputted into the world. So I decided, even if I'm holding on to anger, even if I'm holding on to sadness or fear, I'm going to make the choice to bring positive vibes out into the world. Whatever I'm feeling inside, let's say I'm feeling a 3 out of 10 negativity, I'm going to give 3 out of 10 positivity into the world. If I'm having a really, really bad day, I'm feeling 9 out of 10 fear and sadness and unhappiness, I'm going to just make the choice to offer to flood the world with the equal amount of positivity. And particularly for us in the queer community, if we have anxiety, if we have depression, we can often bounce it off onto somebody else. They say COVID is contagious. I think fear is even more contagious. Anxiety is even more contagious. Depression is even more contagious. And I would just like to throw positive, warm, blessed, cozy, cuddly, amazing vibes to all of you in the hopes that we're able to break that cycle together. Yes, my dad has his hand up.
Yeah, I just want to say, I think from everyone in this Zoom cast who comes on, I think is really a meaningful life, because they all want to share their experiences with everyone else. They want to be part of your mishbocha, part of your Zoom Shabbats, and that's meaningful too, because everyone feels the same way. We have this warmth about Shabbat, this that's passionate about being Jewish, and also the can relate to the struggles about being gay as well, and what you guys have, what people, gay people in the LGBTIQ plus community go through. So being part of this Zoom Shabbat and coming together makes it meaningful. We all inspire each other. We all learn from each other. We hear these wonderful words that we say, Ruben, you're just an amazing inspirational person, that what you do for your shul and for your community. And you too, Sam, you know, and Colin and Renee, we're all, and of course, Jared, we're all able to change people's views and make someone else's day a better day just by being positive and by spreading this love and warmth that you do every single week, Jared, when you do your introduction, which is so special. So thank you to everyone in this part. Yes, Renee.
And Hannah.
Oh yeah, and Hannah. Yeah, Hannah's gone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Hannah's left the thing. Yeah, everyone.
Amazing.
Yeah, Hannah is incredible too. Other people you've had in your talks who are not here at the moment because it's too early in the morning for them.
No.
Yeah, but you, Renee, you're going to say something. Sorry.
It's regarding. I just want to say, I feel for all you, my brothers and sisters, and first of all, I'm available, okay, to listen in silence. But more importantly is that, Jared, one can find within the answer with silence. And I want to say it is okay to acknowledge what you feel at that time. Don't put it under the carpet. I think that's what you say in English. Just acknowledge how you feel at that moment and say, I accept, because I love myself like I love Shabbat.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah.
Said. Just to clarify, I'm not telling people to bottle up their feelings. I genuinely, what gives me pleasure, this is just me personally, but genuinely what gives me pleasure is seeing other people happy. So even if I'm feeling unhappy, if I brighten up someone else's day and they smile, then that smile will make me happy. So it's sort of like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that was all nice and cuddly and a little bit cheesy to end our Shabbat time together. So I encourage you to take this discussion, to take this question into your own lives, and let that be a guiding light for the next week, for the next month, for the next year, because you're all very special people and you deserve to have a meaningful life.
So are you.
So you, Jared.
So are you, Jared.
Bye-bye,
Ruben, would you like to say something? You took yourself off mute.
Oh.
Nope. So we will now say goodbye and continue our Shabbat meals in our own homes. We have all of our animal friends with us to say goodbye. Are any of our friends Jewish? Do we know?
Can't tell.
I can see where, Jared, I can see where you, what was that?
Yeah.
Jared, I can see where you get your animal things from your toy thing from.
From me.
So
Bird is male. I don't know, he
Is
might be
he
Jewish.
Jewish?
Don't know.
I think he's had a bit more cattle.
Can't see anything.
So
Bird looks so cool. He has a stunned look on his face. So that's good.
So we'll now say goodbye and continue our Shabbat experiences in our own home. Thank you again to everyone for choosing to spend this time with us. And I hope you can bring a piece of this experience, a feeling, or a friend into your own lives. Until next time. I would like to invite everyone to take themselves off mute to give one huge Shabbat shalom to each other. Can we have everybody off mute?
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shalom,
Bye.
Lovely seeing you all.
See you next time.
Bye, Renee.
Go to bed.
Bye. Bye, sweeties.
Bye. Ruben and Sam, go to sleep.
Yeah, have a coffee or go to sleep.
Yes,
Ned's already
that's right.
asleep.
Oh, he's already.
Sam's already in bed.
Oh, well. Lovely seeing you guys again.
Bye.
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 Bye, Renee.
Bye.
Shabbat shalom.
Hey, Jazz. Hi, Colin.